Hi there, welcome back to The Taste of Life. We are still moving through step one, claiming your power, which is the first of the 7 steps that I'm sharing with you in this free video series. The first of the 7 steps for you to cross the bridge from being a victim of life to being the creator of your life, to creating the best experience of life. And in every one of those 7 steps, I share with you 7 different aspects of how you can move through that particular step. And today we're talking about how to enter the world of stillness. So let's talk about that relentless chatter in your mind, that noise that's going on in there that sometimes is just driving you crazy. And we're going to approach it from a somewhat different angle. We're going to approach it from the angle that it's actually us who are choosing to fill our being with all this movement, all this busyness, all this chatter, and all this noise, because we are too afraid of what we might find in that stillness, of what we might hear. We are too afraid to find ourselves and to discover the power that we hold. So let me share my story with you. I've always been known as a chatterbox. Ever since I was a child, I was very uncomfortable with stillness, with silence, and it was actually to the point that sitting still and having no sound going on around me created a feeling of anxiety within me. So I would always try and fill my life with sound and with doing something. The only thing, or the only time when I could sit still and I actually did not need any sound around me, was when I was reading a book. And I was an avid reader. And you might say, yeah, but when you're reading a book, you're sitting still, and if there's no sound, so what's the difference? Well, the difference is that my mind was completely occupied by the story in the book. And so that created enough action and enough noise so that I was kept away from having to listen to my own voice. And so as I was growing up, it actually kept getting worse and worse, because whether it was in a meeting at work or whether it was at a gathering with friends, I always felt this huge pressure, this huge responsibility of filling every silence with words. I felt that there was a danger in silence. It was threatening. And whenever it would occur in whatever situation, I felt the responsibility to start talking and to fill everything up, to fill every empty space with either words or with movement. It did not occur to me that I was actually running away from the silence within myself, that I was running away from hearing my own voice. I was hiding behind the noise and the chatter, hiding because I was so afraid of myself. I was so afraid of what I would discover in the stillness and in the silence. And then came my turning point, 2011, and the loudest sound I've ever heard. Those 3 words, you have cancer. Now I have to say to you, I keep coming back to my cancer diagnosis because that for me was the start of my journey. But I do want to stress again that these videos, they're not about cancer at all, because the turning point can be anything, any situation in your life that brings you to a point where you're asking yourself, how can I change this? How can I get out of this? This is not the experience that I want in life. What can I do? Any experience that brings you that feeling is your turning point, and it doesn't matter what it is. For me, it was cancer. For you, it can be losing your job or a divorce or losing a loved one or another illness. It really doesn't matter what it is. Or maybe you're listening to these videos because you are just wondering what else there is in life. There doesn't even have to be this big event. I'm actually making these videos so that all of you who are ready to change your mindset and actually claim the power over your life and create the best experience in life, so that you have the opportunity to learn how to do this, so that you don't have to go through a big event. But for those of you who are in that situation, I just want you to know it's these videos are not about cancer. They're about anything that brings you to the point of where you want to make a change. So that being said, I was in the situation where I had a cancer diagnosis, and as I said, that was the loudest sound I had ever heard. And it triggered all these voices in my mind, voices born out of fear, and it was a relentless chatter going on in my mind, and it was continuous. And I had no idea how to escape from it, because I had this feeling that indeed I wanted to escape from it. But on the other hand, I just kept running and running and running, because also I was too afraid to hear what might be behind all those voices. Because there were also these voices coming from my heart, but they were so new and unfamiliar, and I was so scared to hear what they might have to say. So I had this fight going on inside of me, like keep running, keep being busy and busy and busy. Just fill everything up, fill your life up, so that maybe you can run away from the voices from your mind and all that chatter and all that fear that's going on there. But at the same time, I was running away from whatever I did not want to hear, that was coming from my heart, that was coming from my soul, that was coming from my true self. And I came to a point where all the running and all the busyness left me so exhausted that the only way out seemed to surrender. So I surrendered, and I joined a cancer support group, and which was at the same time a meditation group. And I have to tell you, the first time I felt my anxiety rising, but the group was such a loving space, and we were guided in meditation, and her voice just kept me anchored. And yes, it was not complete silence, but the guided meditation still brought me to that stillness inside myself. This guided meditation opened for me the door to finally enter that space of stillness, that space of silence. And what I found was that there was nothing to be scared of, that it actually was such a loving and peaceful place to be that I didn't want to leave. And yes, it took me a few years of practice, but I've actually come to the point now where I can just sit still and be. No sound, no movement, no nothing. Now, the easiest place for me to do that is still outside in nature, because yes, there are sounds, but that's not noise. Like the song of the birds, and as you hear now behind me, like the wind in the trees, those are the sounds of the universe, and they are actually very helpful in guiding you to that place of stillness inside of you. And what I discovered in that place is my power. The power I have to create my own experience of life and to create the best experience of life. What I found is that in that stillness, there is really, really nothing to be scared of. What you find in that stillness is the path to your true self. And your true self is magnificent and loving, and there's nothing, really nothing to be afraid of. So that is what I want to share with you today, that yes, it may take a while, because I know from my own experience how scary and how dangerous that place of stillness and of silence may seem. But I discovered by surrendering that actually it is a place of beauty, it is a place of love, and it is a place where you find enormous wisdom and tremendous power. And it is available to all of you, and I want you to be able to access that as well. So what I want to say to you today is be gentle. Don't try to force yourself to enter this space of stillness and silence all at once and for a long period of time. I had a client of mine who told me that she went to a meditation once, and it was a meditation of an hour and she could just not do it. And I understand that, because an hour sitting in complete stillness and silence when you've never done it before, and when actually you are scared to enter that place, that is a very long time to sit still. So I want to give you the advice of be gentle, start slowly. And as I said, nature is a really, really good place to start, because there is not complete stillness, but there is the sound of the universe, the sound of Mother Nature holding you to enter that space of stillness inside of you. So be gentle with yourself, take it slow, and just bring it up. Just move slowly through this step, and claim your power. Just be assured that the power is there for you to find inside of you. So that was what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you again for listening and for joining me. I hope I've been able to shed some light on yet another aspect of how to claim your power. As always, if you want to reach out to me, please do so. My website is listed below. And then I will be back next week, and I hope you will be able to join me then as well, because we will be talking about the last aspect of how to claim your power, and that is how to find love and safety inside of you. Thanks again for listening. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.